This is Midweek with Nick Nicholas. Our topic this week will be start worrying about sovereign debt as well as currencies. I will also talk to you about hard assets. Before I go on to this midweek's message, here is my disclaimer that I always have to have, and that is I do not give investment advice. For that, you will have to go to a qualified investment advisor. I just state things that I feel very strong about, and I only state things that myself and my family follow as far as investments are concerned. As previously stated, markets are and will be very volatile during this coming year. The safe haven is still gold. Although gold is the only real currency and keeps its equilibrium against all currencies, there are other safe haven currencies to consider as well. Over the past decade, gold not only kept its time-proven equilibrium, it has more than held up, even in the face of the volatility in the markets. In fact, gold has been the best performing assets for the last 10-11 years since December 1990. Which, by the way, we did predict that it would be when we wrote and predicted that scenario prior to 1999. At that time, most people just did not believe us. They just shrugged their shoulders and even laughed at us when gold was around the 258 mark. As my friend Rolf Neff, who manages a gold fund and silver fund in Kielsburg, Switzerland, points out, the German, Swiss, and Norwegian bond markets are still rising, and their currencies still point to safety. As an example, the Swiss franc is very much viewed as a safe haven. In Belgrade, where Rolf Neff was, he heard that the population there is holding Swiss francs only, not euros. The Serbs had a bad currency experience, of course, during the war in 1993, when they lost all their hard-earned cash and are now very cautious, of course. They now feel the Swiss franc is safer than the euro. As Rolf confirms, the Swiss franc technically looks very good. After 30 years of consolidation, it now has broken out. To benefit their economy, the Swiss central bank is trying very hard to keep the Swiss franc from getting too strong. But in any event, there is strong upward pressure on the currency. By the way, Rolf Neff's website is tellgold.li, T-E-L-L gold.li. I'm not playing the currencies, although at 120 or so against the US dollar, I think the euro is still oversold and ready to continue its bear rally. I also feel that within a year there is a high probability, yes, a high probability, that the euro will be at par with the US dollar. If I have to pick one of the currencies to belong on, then I prefer my own currency, the Canadian dollar. And of course, as previously noted, I also like the Swiss franc. The Dow still looks to go up into 2011. So it is viable for now. But watch out after April next year, and specifically watch the turnaround date of June the 13th, 2011, when I expect things to become very dicey. Right now, austerity programs worldwide are being intensified. Taxes are being raised. Governments are taking as much of your hard-earned money and the money earned by private enterprise as they can, in order to prevent the downgrading of their bond issues and or to stall the defaulting on their sovereign debts, with the results that right now mutinies are being discussed by people all over, and they are starting to revolt against these austerity measures. Look at Greece. People are revolting already. It is a natural progression, and governments eventually, as always, will answer by force, of course. In the meantime, I need to protect myself and my family, because this sovereign debt default could happen. And when that happens, then of course, you have to concern yourself with it, because when sovereign debt defaults, that means a lot of funds will lose a lot of money, instantaneous. And that money will not be available for the credit market. So like I said, my family and I, we want to protect ourselves, and we don't want to be caught in this maelstrom that's coming at us, that financial tsunami. And so should you, for that matter. Our standard of living looks like it will be cut in half over the next few years, but not necessarily worldwide. A lot of people in countries such as India, China, and Brazil may even see an increase in their standard of living. And they will be consuming hard assets. Yes, they will be consuming hard assets with a vengeance. Last week, two of the companies we represent that are in hard assets, by the way, I should disclose to you that my family and I are heavily invested in these companies, but these companies came up with stellar press releases. Tasman Metals, which has an excellent portfolio of rare earth projects in both Sweden and Finland, once again reported another 5 positive drill holes in its 26-hole initial phase 1 drilling program at Norra Kärr in Sweden. Tasman continues to discover thick, heavy rare earth intervals. And please note that I say heavy rare earth intervals. The results reported included 104 meters averaging a total rare earth oxide of 0.67% and 58% heavy rare earth oxide. And also, and of course notably, high grades of 2.1% zirconium oxide. We certainly are very happy with these continued positive results. Now I want to go to a company and to numbers that are hard to believe. Mawson Resources reported last week assay results as high as 12,800 grams a ton. And that's gold from surface sampling, as well as 43% plus uranium. Yes, friends, 373 ounces of gold per ton and more than 43% uranium. And with an initial strike length of 6 by 200 meters wide. Absolutely unheard of. I certainly have never heard of it in my lifetime, and probably I never will again. It is my view that the share price today presents a phenomenal bargain. I know this is early days, and these are just samples at the moment, but they're working right now on a program, an exploration program, and as Michael Hudson says, what he is interested in is explore, 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 and as soon as they have drilled targets, of course, they will start drilling. Now, you also have to look at all of the other gold and uranium assets of Mawson that it has in its quiver, and then look at the share price. For crying out loud, you know, really the stock is trading for cash. I personally have added to my position since the news came out last Monday, and so has my family. These are the kinds of opportunities I have been talking about. You have to be in it to win it, and this is a phenomenal launching pad for Mawson to take the stock eventually, I hope, to go to the moon. You have to chase the hard assets to survive. Buy your favorite gold companies, buy your favorite copper companies, buy your favorite silver companies. Do the research, talk to your investment advisor, and then invest in those companies you like. Work at it, work hard at it, because friends, you know, your future is really on the line. You may think that that I am too strong on this, but I don't see good things ahead. And it's for anybody to see that these governments have been overspending, and in order to keep on buying our votes, and it's not working, people. So start looking after yourself. You can find, by the way, detailed information on the companies that we represent at mininginteractive.com. Just be a very patient investor, and your wealth will start accumulating over time. Friends, once again, this was Midweek with Nick Nicholas.